He's the only person who I have ever known who has a true calling. My father was born to be a doctor.
It's part of who he is as a person.
He's among the most skilled joint replacement surgeons in the world.
Technical excellence, but also compassion, caring for his patients, as well as teaching.
Not only technically perfect surgical outcome, the outcome in the way the patient feels about the care they've been given.
He has always led with his character, way beyond how to take a history, how to do a physical exam, how to do an operation, but how to lead your life. I think the greatest accolade you can have as a surgeon is if other surgeons or anesthesiologists that work with you on a routine basis go to you for their surgery or for their family. There was no question when I realized that I needed a hip replacement that, I put myself in his hands.
I was a medical student at Cornell, so I was familiar with HSS. And just the exposure to this institution made me realize that this is what I wanted to do. When I started my residency, hip replacement surgery was relatively new. Knee replacements were even newer than that. So all the interesting things were happening, all the new things were happening in hip and knee replacement surgery.
He's really one of the innovators in that field who made significant contributions in making hip replacements more stable.
Paul is totally focused on one of the missions of this institution to train and produce good doctors, i.e. residents.
His whole operating room worked with such efficiency.
Calm, focus, and attention to detail, and unwavering commitment to perfection.
Something that, as a surgeon, you try to aspire towards and emulate.
He's a role model for the residents. The residents love working with him. He's been their probably #1 supporter.
The gratefulness that I had from my mentors, I wanted to pass along to the next generation, and hopefully they'll do that with the next group.
To me, he embodied the way you were supposed to be, and the patient always came first.
Paul is as I call him, is a man who instills confidence. Everybody I know who had their hip replaced went to Paul Pellicci.
I was diagnosed with leukemia at 24. I did a long treatment. That treatment involved a lot of steroids. And then my hips just kind of gave out. And I was getting married in 4 months.
I make movies. It's not all sunglasses and red carpets. It is very grueling physically. I just thought, I've got to take time off and do this. Knee.
Everything was just done perfectly and with great efficiency.
I was back at work in 2 weeks, and then obviously on the dance floor in Mykonos 4 months later.
I have to say it was wonderful from the minute we started.
And the combination of Paul with HSS is just as good as it gets, I think.
One of the things that my father always stressed to us was having perspective.
I have distinct memories of my dad getting up really early to beat traffic, but then also being able to get home early enough to coach our soccer teams.
We always had a very strong, usually undefeated record.
There are probably still pictures in his office of his championship Franklin Lakes recreation soccer teams.
His family commitments have always been as important as his life as a surgeon.
When I was giving the toasts at their weddings, I was happy because I was there for their childhoods.
When a patient comes in and sits down with Paul, they feel that they're the only person that matters.
When I was 14 years old, I was diagnosed with ALL leukemia.
Some of the drugs that he was being given had destroyed both of his hips. So when he came in that first day, he could barely get out of the wheelchair.
I spent a decent amount of my high school career on crutches and then in a wheelchair. And my goal was I wanted to be able to walk across the stage for my graduation. He just had this genuine side of just, I want to fix this for you. And I knew he was gonna make everything okay.
Saw him a year later. He gave me this collage of pictures of him dancing at his senior prom, walking up to get his diploma. I think all 4 of us had tears in our eyes, his parents and myself and Tim.
It was magic.
It's wonderful to come to work and be proud of the people you're working with every day. Everybody's doing the very best that anybody could do to achieve the goals that we try to achieve.